Wow.
The time ticks away. She's not going to wait for him anymore.
Okay, goodbye.
Hello again, everybody. I am Haresh, and we are back with another episode of This Is Not Your History Class. It's a podcast where we have fun conversations about our shared heritage, history, and vibrant cultures. Today we are at Tekka Market, which is one of the oldest markets and hawker centres in Singapore. We have 5 wonderful guests, all of whom are lovers of Singapore's heritage and culture.
Hi, everybody.
My name is Nicholas.
I'm Dalila. Hi, I'm Vivinia.
Hi, my name is Hazmi Zain.
Thank you all for joining us. So, before we get to know each other a little better, we're going to go deep into a specific topic. It might be something that you all have heard of before. It is the term ICH. You know, we have 2 NHB reps. You all might be familiar with it already. But how would the rest of you describe it?
I guess it's something that is more of a practice, right? Practice and ritual for us rather than something we can touch, I would say.
Yeah, similarly, I think it's something that's part of our Singaporean culture, something that has been nurtured over the years, but we can't really touch it, but you sense it, you feel it, it's around you, it defines you. Like, you know, for example, Pasar Malam culture. It's a very nice thing, right? Night market. We all know during festivals go Pasar Malam. Now is Ramadan, right?
Yeah.
My daughter and I just look forward to going to Geylang just to eat all the food, to walk around, you know.
So, all of you all seem to be quite familiar with ICH.
Oh no, what's coming up next?
Later you quiz us.
Sort of.
I'm going to test your ability to identify components of ICH. You're going to watch a video. And as you watch it, I want you to keep track of how many examples of ICH you see. Okay, then after that, I'll test you guys and we see who's the most accurate.
Okay.
Alright?
We better not be last lah.
Yeah.
Now, as you watch it, you really keep count.
Okay. But it's so fast, I scared I blink.
So now, you all have a number in your head.
21,
You?
21 as well. About 18 for me.
25?
25.
Yeah.
I never count lah. I just was enjoying all the visuals. I think about 15.
Okay, the correct answer is actually 21. Yeah, 21. So you got 25.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain
We better not be last lah.
Yeah.
a bit more about cultural heritage, given that, you know, it is your expertise at NHB.
I think this term intangible cultural heritage might be quite chim for some people as well. So another term that we like to use is living heritage. And I think like the guests have pointed out, very much it's like things that we see on a daily basis or on special occasions like Hari Raya coming out or even the Tamil New Year as well. And very interestingly, there are actually categories of ICH or living heritage such as performing arts, food heritage and traditional crafts that we saw in the video just now. You can find out more about that on our ICH inventory link as well that we'll share as part of this video podcast. Yeah.
So just now when you said 25, you were just throwing them off a bit.
Yeah, kind of.
I saw Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. So how is that part of our intangible cultural heritage?
Personally, I don't know whether he's even part of ICH. Isn't he like part?
Yeah, so I think maybe at this juncture, most of us might not associate Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran with ICH as well. Yeah. But if we think even about music in Singapore and how it's evolved as well, there's a lot of like fusion between like even traditional Indian music trying to be modern as well. Yeah. So who knows, maybe in future it's something that can be considered ICH as well.
ICH to younger and future generations, Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran. I mean, if let's say you're gonna perform like a traditional dance performance to music that's made by these artists, that might likely become an interesting form of ICH in the future.
Okay.
Will people understand what it means? Intangible, cultural heritage. Is it easily relatable?
Were you involved in like the development of the name?
Not the name, but it's something that actually the UNESCO body, like for example in our UNESCO nominations, that's the official term that they use, and I think we also recognize that it might not kind of like be so easily understood by most people as well. I think that's why we came up with things like living heritage, because we actually been practicing all these cultures for so many years as well. Just that we've never put like a marker or like a definition to it as well. The most important thing is that we carry out all these cultural practices regardless of the title or not.
Is there a cultural practice that is meaningful for you all?
A few days before Deepavali, usually we would actually hold like ancestral prayers to worship our ancestors who had passed on. So the different families would come together, they would cook, they'll bring dishes, and then we would actually like do the prayers. And interestingly, my family is quite diverse. A lot of them have intermarried into like different cultures. So the kind of food that they bring is also from the different cultures. So it's like a coming together of different ICH practices in that one worship practice itself.
Usually the night before Hari Raya itself, my whole family will usually like come down together, and then we'll make all the traditional food and everything together. So we'll fold the ketupat, then we'll make the pineapple tart, they do cute shapes like flowers. We'll also cook like the rendang together. So it's a lot of like coming together and actually like passing on all these knowledge and skills to the younger generation like myself. When I was younger, I felt like, oh, I'm such a chore. Like I didn't want to be in the kitchen. But then growing up, I think like slowly when I got closer to my family, then that was when I started to appreciate, because it always comes with the conversations that we have together as well.
For me, when growing up, I used to go through all these things also, but I never appreciated it. But it's only when you get older, maybe you see some relatives pass on, and then like people ask you, oh, well, what's your culture? And like I'm not the most familiar. Then I realized, oh, there's all these things that I don't want to forget. Then of course the nagging from my mom and all, of course that plays a part also.
Definitely, I choose which are the ones which I like to celebrate. As I said, there's too many, so I said, okay, this one we'll celebrate grandeur. This one just a simple prayer.
Like
so yeah, so I kind of choose what works for me, what I feel resonates with me and my family. Because if I celebrate everything, I won't be working. Every day I'll be celebrating. I think for my kids, they would probably make their own decision on what's relevant to them, what they want to pay emphasis on, and it is a very personal journey, right? I mean, what you think is your cultural heritage.
A lot of the examples you gave involve people coming together, and I'm guessing a big part of that involves food. Food is definitely something that I would say most Singaporeans appreciate, most Singaporeans love about Singapore. That's why we're here in front of Tekka Market.
Yeah, so hawker culture was inscribed to the UNESCO representative list back in 2020. Hawker culture is not just about the food itself, it's about the people. You and I as consumers, the hawkers, them making the food as well. It's about the place, the whole structure of a hawker center, which is a very unique kind of setup. That's what all comes together to make hawker culture in Singapore so vibrant and multicultural as well.
You know, one thing about food is sometimes people kind of like unsure where the food hails from. And sometimes there can be some confusion. Have you all experienced that in any of your lines of work?
Yeah, actually, so I teach this Indian dance classes to this particular school, and we're supposed to impart cultural knowledge as well. There is that lack of knowledge, I think, amongst the younger generation, the little ones. So these are primary school kids, you know. Sometimes there's a confusion, is it Malay or is it Indian? I mean, it is both actually, right? Roti Prata, is it Indian or is it Malay? Or is it Singaporean? See, Paratha is Indian, but roti, it's a mix, it's a Singaporean dish, right?
So how do you explain it to them? Do you like focus on
I scold them first.
scold them first?
Scold them first.
Scold them
Say,
first.
oh, nasi lemak is Indian. Then I explain to them. I said, nasi itself, the word is Malay.
Malay, I see.
So then, yes, then I explain to them. Scold first.
For you all, especially for you, you know, you deal with in the line of F&B and food.
It's about culture, you know. So every beef rendang have different ways of doing it. Like in Singapore, they like it soft and wet. In Indonesia, they like it dry and hard.
We're going to play a game. It's called Two Shok for Words. All of you will be blindfolded. One of you will remove your blindfold and describe a particular heritage food that we will place right in front of you. You can only describe it using shapes, colors, textures, and smells. Whoever guesses it right will get 1 point. The person with the most points at the end will win. Set?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I have some very comfortable blindfolds for you all. And two here. Your 30 seconds starts now.
It's like brownish orange. It's creamy. It's a form of liquid and it's very aromatic.
Is it curry?
What kind of curry?
Okay, some more, sorry.
Rendang?
Nope.
Chicken curry.
Nope. 10 seconds.
It can be eaten with like different kind of carbs.
Tosi.
Wrong.
No.
5 seconds.
It's creamy, remember? It's creamy,
4,
liquid, brownish,
3,
orange.
Shut up.
But it's just a type of,
Okay,
curry.
time's up. So Okay, you can remove your blindfolds.
What is this?
Devil's curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
devil's curry.
Devil's curry.
Yeah, so what do you know of
so
devil's curry?
specific.
I know it's more known for the Eurasian culture and heritage, something that I think has a lot of like Portuguese or European influence as well.
But what makes it so devilish?
I think it's a spice.
padi.
Oh, the
Yeah,
spice.
chili padi.
See,
You can
there's a
see
chili
there as
padi.
well.
It's very rare. So yeah, it's a challenge for any of us.
Not fair.
Yeah, not fair. Yeah.
It's actually not that spicy compared.
Yeah.
It smells like the local asam pedas.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Just like the chef, to smell.
So first round, no takers. All right, ready, Sridevi? Everyone
ready.
30 seconds starts now.
Okay, so it's a popular breakfast dish. It's circular. You have got paper version, butter
Oh,
version.
thosai.
Well done.
done.
You were just waiting for it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say prata already, but yeah. So actually, my in-laws are also Indian. So actually, they invite me for Deepavali. For some
Oh.
celebrations as well. And thosai is always they still have the pan where they cook it fresh for us. So that's really awesome now.
Oh, awesome. Your 30 seconds starts now.
It's white. It's a wrap. It's a traditional wrap.
Wow, on a roll, that is correct.
Traditional
Well
wrap.
done, Sridevi.
Wrap, of course.
Wrap. Okay,
I thought it was a dumpling or something.
Yeah.
This is also a food that not many companies preserve it too, because there's only about four, 5 companies that still making the wrap.
Cool. 3 rounds down. So now we have Azmi and Sridevi with a point each. You guys still have chance to
Just
level.
us.
Yeah. So 30 seconds starts now.
So yeah, this is a protein dish. It's quite saucy, very lemak, and it's usually cooked for very long.
Rendang.
That's what Azmi, you got it, Azmi.
Give away.
This dish is it's very intense dish that we have to cook every day.
How many spices are like?
Probably about 30
spices.
about.
30.
You know, there's certain timing that we need to put the coconut milk. My mom used to prepare and the rendang, and some of my staff actually have their body worked out. Everything become hard and muscular because it's like stir and stir.
Now the scores are like Hazmi 2, Sridevi 1. So let's just make it like, okay, the person who gets this gets 3 points. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So everybody has a chance to win lah. Dalila, I'm sorry.
But me,
Yeah, but you lah, you are, yeah, it's amongst the 4 of them. Alright, so the pressure's on. Max, we can get it 3 points. 1 point each.
Okay.
So your 45 seconds starts now.
Okay, the first one, there's like a lot of layers.
Kueh lapis.
Kueh lapis.
Alright, Sridevi, 2-2.
Okay, and the other one, the second one is green and white.
Onde onde?
Yes, yeah, okay.
And the last one, yellow. Or it is like the shape of a flower.
Kuih berlauk.
Yes, kuih bakar berlauk. Okay, you can take off your blindfolds. Alright.
I don't know that.
Do you have any like memory?
This one, my favorite.
Is it?
My grandmother would make this. Like example, she make 24, right? The first 12 gone by me.
Is it?
The best part about this for me is the meat inside, the chili. It adds a spice and it's like, ooh.
Oh, so it's not a sweet.
It's
So
savoury.
sweet, yeah.
savoury.
Even though it's a kueh, yeah.
I haven't had many
never had it
savory
before.
kuehs.
So kuih bakar berlauk, berlauk means
Berlauk means dish. So there's a dish on top of the
dish on top of a dish.
dish on top of the kuih lah. There's minced beef. There's sometimes I think they put cheese on top of it. You can see that there's yellow there. But this is not common, so not many people would know about this dish. Yeah.
It's not so common.
Yeah.
We've also come to the end of 2 stroke forwards. The grand champion is Hazmi, and
Well done.
your prize is just the pride. Pride. Yeah. Pride, yeah. Pride of winning this competition. The last dish was like a kueh, which is quite relevant given that we are in the holy month of Ramadan. And we'll be celebrating Hari Raya pretty soon in April. What does the month of Ramadan mean to you?
It's a month of a Muslim need to control himself from food, from desire and all that. We pray together, we break fast together. It's like a unity kind of thing lah.
For my family, also we will like seek forgiveness and just try to let bygones be bygones.
So for the people who are not fasting and celebrating Hari Raya, like what perspectives do you have on the festival?
Personally, for me, I think I've been quite exposed to this culture because my uncle actually married an Indian Muslim. So the intermingling of cultures is something that I've always been exposed to. So we celebrate Hari Raya in our own way as well. We go over to her house, she cooks for us and all that.
I think for someone who doesn't practice it, just being a bit more mindful about your colleagues, like even if they're feeling a bit more tired or they need to head off to somewhere else, just something you try to accommodate and help them as well. and even trying to be involved in it. Like we will try to break fast together with some of our Muslim colleagues at least once.
So you mentioned just now that your in-laws are Indian. So when it comes to cultural festivals, being involved in another cultural festival, how does that impacted you or change your perspective on things?
It's more like my distant in-law. My brother-in-law is Indian,
okay,
so we
okay.
get invited to his family's house. I think one of the Hindu festival I was quite heavily involved in a few years ago was Thai Pusam, and we actually had this campaign called A Journey of Devotion. I actually wanted to share more about the practice of Thai Pusam and the people and communities involved in it. So yeah, we woke up like 4 a.m. to head to the temple, and the temple very warmly welcomed us, and we got to see like the whole community. It's not just the Kavadi carriers, it's actually the musicians, the piercers, like a supporting cast almost. And I think after that we even managed to invite her to walk the whole procession route barefooted together with them.
Any one thing that you remember that totally changed your mind about it, like you didn't expect that you saw on the day itself?
The piercing, I saw the piercing through the skin, and that was like, there's a lot of prayers and music that they
Just
help to
so that your mind is distracted.
Yeah, but when the piercing goes through, there's no blood coming out, so it's a really skilled piercer who actually does the whole procession. Yeah.
Actually, I can relate to that because my uncle carried the Kavadi for 30 years.
30 years?
30 years. So they will use like the holy ash, called like a vibhuti, to put it on top of like the blood if there's anything that were to come out. As a little girl, I used to cry whenever he gets pierced, right? Because I thought he was in pain. But he always tells me that there's no pain. And it's the same thing for my dad, who used to firewalk for many years as well.
Oh, wow.
He also told me that there was no pain. So I was always in awe of like these practices.
The mental strength though.
Yeah, the mental, physical strength.
Singapore culture, there's a lot of performing arts. We have some questions that we have pulled from our friends and family about performing arts. So if everybody could look at the screen, what's your favorite ICH performing art from another culture?
Diki Bharat. It's just the rhythm, it just gets you moving. So I like that a lot. Yeah.
Indian dance actually.
Ah.
Yeah, because of my grandmother. She loves watching Bollywood and in the movies, the dance, everything. I love it. If I had a wedding, I want to do like Indian dance rap.
And even in Indian dances, there's so many different types
Yeah,
of dances,
yeah.
right? Like what are the broad categories?
It's huge. Okay, so when you say Indian dance, you're talking about classical Indian dance. There's about some 8 categories of that. Folk dances, hundreds of categories of that. Of course, Bollywood is the most popular.
Yeah.
I call Bollywood like a roja. It's a mix of everything and anything, and with a lot of attitude and expressions.
Yeah.
The wedding will have a...
Boleh Chodian.
What?
Yeah, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Oh, those are classics, huh? Classics.
Mine is lion dance.
Oh, lion dance.
I mean, I'm amazed how they climb through the steps and all the long poles and all that. The acrobatic is superb, I would say. The costume and the lion head.
coordination and all that. Which I mean ties into the next question, which is, were you all forced to learn any performing art when young? Or any form of ICH?
I was asked to be part of the Indian dance group.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so it's very common because there are not many like Indian students in the school. And to put up for SYF, you need a certain number as well.
So you did it for a long while?
Not a very long time, but mostly in primary school, I did do it for a few years.
For you, like when did you first get into...
Oh, I loved dancing. I think from a very young age, I used to dance around the house, run around, roll around, you know. So mom said, I think better send this girl for classes. So I think I was destined to be in it.
Oh, so you were not forced, you
No,
forced your
no,
mom
no.
to send you to classes?
Yes.
The next question is about, when was the last traditional performing arts event that you went to? For you, probably like every week.
Yes. Every weekend.
Maybe for me it would be mainly weddings where they do the kompang and the silat for the bride and groom. But so I don't really go to like concerts or anything.
Do you go to Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah. It's too expensive.
You might get a chance to watch something right now because the next question is, can any of you demonstrate an ICH performing art form? So I guess we definitely know someone.
Okay, so I'll demo a little bit from Bharatanatyam. That is the main classical dance form that I specialize in. A beautiful girl decides to further beautify herself.
Wow.
She steps out of her door, walks to the place where she's supposed to meet her boyfriend. She waits for him. The time ticks away. She's not going to wait for him anymore. She goes away, walks to the shopping mall, and has a good time shopping.
Wow, strong independent woman.
Correct. So most of the stories are she waits for the lover. She's sad, he doesn't come. She pines. Okay, no more.
No more.
Change.
Yeah, go to the
I
mall.
love
Change the
Go to the
narrative.
mall. So what is the essence of Bharatanatyam? Is it always accompanying a story?
It is. Okay, so there's two aspects to Bharatanatyam. One is pure dance, where we do movements, which got no meanings. What I just did was a storytelling aspect. So they actually go hand in hand. We tell loads of stories, contemporary, modern, traditional, etc.
And how long does it take to become proficient in
Oh, it takes a
Bharatanatyam?
very long time.
Very long time.
I think at least to finish a one round of basic, you're looking at 8 years.
8 years. Whoa. What do you all think of fusing modern music into traditional performing arts? Maybe you can start off with
Okay.
you, given you're a practitioner.
Okay, so we have been doing that in my school, Omkar Arts. We started when we were 1987, as way back as then, when there was a lot of Indian sound which had Western instrumentation. So we started taking those music pieces, modernizing Indian traditional dance.
How do you balance not going too much?
Yeah, so when we do traditional classical, we qualify it is traditional classical, and we don't try not to bring in any of these elements. But when we do this contemporary versions of Indian classical dance, we say so. It is a contemporary version. So it is kept kind of distinct.
I see. Even that you all are not practitioners, you all are more like, you enjoy the arts. What do you all think about fusing it with modern?
I think it's actually quite an interesting mix because back then when I was in ITE, I joined a hip hop dance group where we mix the Dikir Barat rhythm together with pop, and then there will also be like rap music at the side. But our dance moves are a mixture of both Dikir Barat, where we will have like silat kind of movements, as well as breakdancing, which the boys will be doing.
I think that's nice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, because it's culture is something that you're always pushing the boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's very nice.
But like, just now when you mentioned with regards to rendang, that every different country in Southeast Asia has a different version of rendang. But how do you see it for performing arts?
To have like modern music to performing arts, it could be interesting to the younger generation. Probably the older generation will have like, hey, what is this? They are not familiar with this.
I mean, for me personally, I feel like if you want to impart knowledge of ICH to the younger and future generations, then we cannot be resistant to change, right? I mean, this is their way of interpreting traditions, and if their way of actually preserving it is through imagining it in a very contemporary rendition, I feel like that's fine.
Being open to kind of evolution and innovation in our cultural heritage is also very important. For example, a lot of our practices, if you think about it, may not actually be around if there wasn't any innovation or change. Just think of our hawker food as well. When our ancestors first came to Singapore, what they served in the past is totally different from what we have today as well. Yeah, so I think being open to change and innovation, but still holding on to the core traditions and culture, what the practice means, is important if we want to see these cultural practices going on to the next generation.
What we are doing today might become tradition in 1,000 years, isn't it?
But have you seen from students who are more keen to learn about the modern dance?
Yes, all the time. So I have to balance. In the classroom, we only teach traditional dance because I think you need to have a good foundation. To break a rule, you need to know what the rule is, right?
Yeah.
So I always tell them, you have to learn the traditional art first. And then when we perform, we take some liberties, we modernize a little bit, we innovate a little bit. Because I innovate and I modernize, I see more people are interested to come and join my classes. So this makes it very relatable to them. Once they join, I drag them into the traditional arts.
So for Dalila's wedding, there must be classical dance in addition to
you
Bollywood
can do
music.
your Bollywood, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
But one segment, 1 minute classical.
Must
Okay,
have classical,
alright.
yeah,
Can
yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
So we've been having a lot of deep debate and conversations. So now we're going to do something a bit more light-hearted. A game of Would You Rather.
Okay.
Would you rather eat a full 12-course traditional Malay dinner, Indian dinner, Chinese dinner, or Eurasian dinner?
Chinese for me.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Chinese for me as well.
Chinese, because Chinese, that's their tradition to serve a course dinner. For Malay, you have it everything in one table. Indian too, right?
Yeah.
So the tradition is still kept.
For me, all of it. Why do I have to choose?
You have to choose. It's a game of Would You Rather. It's not a game of Would You. Yeah.
Actually, I would choose Eurasian because it's something, I think like with the devil's curry just now, something we don't get to have very often. Just something very different from what we are used to.
I tried to do a 12 course or 10 course Malay, traditional Malay course by course. At the end of the third dish, they were like, oh, got some more. Too full.
And it's very it's
super heavy.
no one said the dinner of their own culture or race, right? Which is pretty cool.
It's too heavy for me.
It's too
Too many Chinese weddings.
Too many Chinese weddings there. I don't take much spice, surprisingly, and like every time I have Indian food, it's like the next day is just Have to just
The toilet need reservation.
Yeah, exactly. Would you rather learn another culture's performing art form or your own?
Since I do my own, I'd love to learn another one.
I see, okay.
Like maybe traditional Indian dance, for example.
Yeah.
Chinese opera is like, it's like so high pitched, and then lion dance is quite physical and dangerous as well. So the others look more palatable for me.
I'll give you my number later.
Okay.
Would you rather learn how to make prata or learn traditional Indian dance?
Make prata. Because prata is an art.
Maybe there's a dance move like that also?
Probably.
We actually do. We have a movement. We say
You can do both at once.
Correct.
Prata is like one of my favorite.
When we learn it, we can make money out of it. It's a skill.
Dance also?
That's why.
Yeah. You can start offering a prata class, so they
Sure.
come for prata, then you get them to dance.
I'll teach you the move.
Okay.
Then you try it on the prata.
Would you rather go to a Taylor Swift concert or a concert by a great DK Bharat group?
Wow.
Wow.
That's
I think
challenge.
I have to say DK Bharat.
DK Bharat, yeah.
Because you are from NHB.
Yeah.
I'm Team Taylor Swift, I'm sorry.
Taylor Swift is Spotify. Yeah, but DK Bar you need to have it live to get the feels and feel it down your spine.
You good?
Dickie Bharat.
Dickie
Not
Bharat.
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Still can change your mind, no? Taylor Swift?
I think Taylor Swift needs some sort of representation.
Would you rather have a traditional dinner with your parents or a fusion or modern one?
I think more traditional, just for that kind of familial connection also. Yeah, and also maybe no arguments with the parents as well. So
That's
just
true,
keep
that's
it.
true. That's true, very practical.
I brought my mom to some, I would say, a hybrid kind of restaurant. She cannot
They
accept
can
it.
appreciate it.
She don't appreciate it. She said, what is this? What's going on? I said, this is how they serve it now. No, the way it should be like this.
I think now I might reconsider my decision because I know when my uncles and aunties went even to like Japan or Italy, they will look for Indian food.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they will complain about how expensive the Indian food is. And it blows my mind. But I think if it's with parents, right, then you have to explain what is the different dishes and all.
So and then you don't enjoy your dinner already. You feel bad like you brought them to the wrong place.
So how?
My parents are very young.
Oh, very
Yeah,
young.
so they are more open to fusion. Yeah.
Intangible cultural heritage and living heritage is so wide, right? How would you sum up what living heritage is to you all?
Living heritage for me would be something that I've learned from my grandparents or my parents. So it's like a knowledge or a skill that I can even eventually pass down to my own like children as well. And then like I hope that they can continue that. It's very important for the younger children to understand that like it's not something that you should be forced to do, but you will slowly pick up that feeling along the way. Because like for myself also, I mentioned that like I gradually learn to love my culture and realize that actually I am practicing it like every day.
For me, I think as a curator, it reminds me of like the important role that I play in ensuring that living heritage is actually preserved. Like the customs, the traditions, the cultural practices that were passed down by these ancestors to their descendants and even future generations. So I play that important role in like, collecting and ensuring that this is preserved.
I kind of like to use this analogy of like same but different. I think all of us being here through the conversations we have, there are a lot of similar things that tie us together, like our hawker culture, or even all the different things that we see in our housing estates as well, from weddings to like all the cultural celebrations. Also, I think Singapore is a safe environment where we can actually practice it, and other people can actually get to appreciate it as well.
There's the advent of AI. Do you all have any fears at all that these cultures and tradition will eventually die out? Given that you all are in the field, in practicing it, what's your take on that?
In NHB and in the museum world, we have actually made use of AI to promote heritage. We have this like robot called Temi. Temi has actually done tours of like the Changi Chapel and the galleries to like the public. So that's like a way in which you see how AI is used to preserve and promote heritage in a very interesting way.
But how do you prevent it from like creeping in and taking over everything?
Then we have to program it in a way that it doesn't steal our heritage away now.
That's how the Terminator started.
And I think also people like the Leela, also the next generation, I think they are a lot more innovative. I've seen also in my work with heritage pieces in the realm of fashion as well, particularly. Things like the cheongsam, the baju, and even the saris as well have also taken very modern interpretation and form. Some of them have even make it to like global kind of fashion stages as well. And I think that's an opportunistic avenue for especially the next generation to kind of showcase what they can do and how they want to kind of promote our next generation of cultural heritage?
So I think Indian dance has survived centuries, right? I think it will continue to survive. AI is very new. I think we still don't understand much of the potential of AI. I'm quite sure we can find a way to incorporate it. So at this point, I don't know how. I don't know enough about it, but I think it will survive.
What makes me push to still sustain the business is because I see generation after generation the business. Like last time, the grandfather come to bring their son to eat. Now I see their son brought their children to eat. So that touches me that why I have to still continue the business.
For youths and the younger generation, what can we do as like a society or as for institutions do to get them more interested in culture and living heritage?
I think it really starts with us. If we want it to be passed on to the next generation, it has to be practiced by us and thought about why we do what we do instead of just enforcing something.
So from a younger person's perspective, why is it important to understand your roots?
It's really the identity. Because if I just like go around and like someone asks me, hey, you Malay ah? Then I'm like, yeah. But what makes me Malay?
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Like it's not just the race, the skin color. It's really the upbringing and the practices that you actually go through.
So our classes are not just teaching dance. We actually holistically teach them the entire culture, practices. We talk about festivals. I won't say the youngsters are not interested. They're very interested, but there is a knowledge gap. So I think it is something that we have to present to them in a bite-sized portion for them to be able to understand. I think also amongst my younger dancers, my teenagers and the 20-somethings, they question everything. Like our parents would say, just do it, right? So they need to know why. And I think if you can give them the why answer and the rationale, they're more willing to accept it rather than just do it because I told you so or my parents did it, so you just have to follow. So AI can be used for that, to actually find out what it is all about, and all of them use it, right? Why celebrate Pongal? You'll get an amazing essay from AI. That's how you can enhance the knowledge and go deeper into culture rather than just superficially following.
So if we could just wrap up by each of you like summing up like a one-liner in terms of your hopes or advice to anyone who cares about this, about the future of ICH and living heritage in Singapore, like a nugget of wisdom.
I think the key thing is about living heritage really is to be kind of open to kind of changes, evolution and adaptations as well, while still kind of holding true to the culture that gives you your own sense of identity, whether is it as you as a person or being part of a larger community.
We are very fortunate in Singapore that we can enjoy cultures in full value of the cultures. So whether it's food or it's arts or it's festivals, we should just embrace it and totally enjoy it.
Preserving the culture, our own culture is very important. And it's very important because it's for our future generation. Like what she mentioned that, you know, if they don't know about all the origins of the family, then they will be lost.
I just hope that there's a better understanding of what ICH is, and like especially to the youth, to know that like it is part of our everyday lives and we are actually closer to our culture than we think we are.
Beyond preservation, it's very important for us to educate as well, because awareness is important for us to actually ensure that everyone has a better understanding of what ICH means.
Thank you all so much for sharing. It's been great talking to you,
Thank you so
Sridevi,
much.
Nick, Dalila, Livinia and
Thank you.
Hazmi. It's great to see practitioners and believers in ICH and living heritage. So thank you all so much for sharing. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And do leave a comment below about the types of living heritage that you and your family practice at home. Check out our social media pages and roots.gov.sg, Singapore's heritage resource portal. And remember to share it with your friends. Thanks a lot and goodbye.